The night of September 2nd, 1666, descended upon London like any other. The city's inhabitants, weary from their daily toils, sought solace in their beds. They slept soundly, oblivious to the inferno that would soon engulf their world. A gentle breeze whispered through the narrow, cobbled streets, a harbinger of the powerful winds that would soon fan the flames of destruction. The River Thames, reflecting the moon's pale light, flowed serenely, its waters soon to be choked with debris and ash. In the heart of the city, within the walls of Thomas Farriner's bakery on Pudding Lane, a tiny spark awaited its moment to ignite history. The summer had been unusually dry. A scorching sun had baked the city's wooden structures, turning them into tinderboxes ripe for ignition. The air itself seemed heavy with anticipation, a palpable tension hanging over the sleeping city. Unbeknownst to the slumbering populace, the stage was set for a catastrophe that would forever alter the face of London. The baker's oven, cooling after a long day's work, held within its depths the smouldering embers of a fire that would soon consume their world. Just after midnight, as the city slept, disaster struck. Embers from the bakery's oven ignited nearby firewood. Flames quickly erupted, licking at the dry timber of the bakery. Within minutes the building was ablaze, a beacon of destruction in the night. Thomas Farriner, awakened by the suffocating smoke, scrambled to rouse his family. They barely escaped with their lives as flames consumed their home and livelihood. The fire spread with terrifying speed. Fueled by the dry timber and fanned by the strengthening wind, it leaped from building to building. The narrow, winding streets acted like chimneys, creating a wind tunnel that sucked the flames ever onward. Frantic cries pierced the night as residents awoke to the terrifying glow and the choking smell of smoke. The Great Fire of London had begun. Panic gripped the city as the fire raged out of control. The streets, usually bustling with commerce, were now choked with terrified citizens fleeing for their lives. Families clutching meagre possessions stumbled through the darkness, desperate to escape the inferno. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning wood, making it difficult to breathe. Firefighting efforts were hampered by the narrow streets and the lack of organised response. Water carriers raced to the Thames, their buckets woefully inadequate against the inferno. Parish water pumps proved useless against the sheer scale of the blaze. The fire, a ravenous beast, consumed everything in its path, leaving behind a trail of ash and despair. By Monday morning, the fire had reached St. Paul's Cathedral, a symbol of London's resilience and faith. The flames devoured the ancient wooden roof, sending a shower of sparks into the sky. Molten lead from the roof poured down the streets like fiery rivers, adding to the devastation. The cathedral's mighty stone walls provided little resistance to the inferno's relentless assault. Desperate measures were taken to halt the fire's advance. Buildings were demolished with gunpowder to create fire breaks, but the wind often carried burning debris across these gaps, rendering them ineffective. King Charles II himself joined the firefighting efforts, directing the demolition of buildings and offering comfort to his terrified subjects. After 4 days and nights of unrelenting fury, the fire finally began to subside on September 6th. The wind died down, and the flames were gradually brought under control. In its wake, the fire left a scene of unimaginable destruction. Over 13,000 homes, 87 churches, and countless businesses lay in ruins. The heart of London had been reduced to a smouldering wasteland. Remarkably, the official death toll was relatively low, with only a handful of confirmed fatalities. However, this number likely underestimates the true extent of the tragedy, as many of the poor and marginalised perished in the fire and were never officially recorded. The fire left over 70,000 people homeless, their lives and livelihoods destroyed. From the ashes of the Great Fire arose an opportunity to rebuild London anew. Sir Christopher Wren, a brilliant architect, was commissioned to design a new St. Paul's Cathedral and oversee the reconstruction of the city. Wren's vision was ambitious, embracing the principles of Renaissance architecture and incorporating fire-resistant materials. Under Wren's guidance, London was transformed. Wider streets and open spaces were created to prevent the rapid spread of future fires. Buildings were constructed with brick and stone, replacing the flammable timber that had fueled the Great Fire. New building codes were introduced, mandating the use of fire-resistant materials and incorporating fire safety measures. The Great Fire of London, though a tragedy of immense proportions, ultimately proved to be a catalyst for positive change. The fire had inadvertently helped to end the Great Plague which had ravaged the city the previous year. The flames consumed the plague-ridden rats and their fleas that had spread the disease. More importantly, the fire forced London to confront its vulnerabilities and rebuild with safety and resilience in mind. The new building codes and firefighting measures implemented after the fire laid the foundation for a safer, healthier city. The Great Fire, a stark reminder of the destructive power of nature, became a turning point in London's history, shaping the city we know today.